So non-duality translates into not two-ness. This is not a divided reality. So most people believe that they are an independent person that's living independently from the world, which to me now is a really abstract idea. So they feel like they're in relationship to the world and they're independent of the world. So they are walking through a separate world. So they are something that exists inside this body and they're walking through a separate world. So there is me and there is a world out there that I'm in relationship to. And to me, this is the origins of what I would call suffering. This idea of separation. The idea that there is an independent you in relationship to the world. And the question is who is this you that lives inside the body? So in Christianity, they would call that a soul, and they would say that when the body dies, that soul either evolves onto heaven and hell. And that soul is kind of your choices, your behavior, your past, your future, your way of being, what you did, your job. And this soul, often in Christianity, has to prove itself in this life in order to get into heaven. Whereas non-duality talks about this heaven that is here right now. When it's recognized that who you are is not a thing. And what I mean by thing is something that we name. So you're not the past, you're not your actions, you're not your name, you're not your behavior, you're not your ideas, you're not your choices, you're not your job, you're not your bank statement, you're not your body, you're not your face or your hair or your clothes. You're not a mother or a father or a daughter. You're not good or bad or right or wrong. You're not someone that's going to get somewhere. You're not an age. You're not a name. So what is left if you take out all of that? You're not a thought. So what is left if you take that all away? Who are you? So now if I go the opposite way and speak in the positive, So if you're not all those things, then it means what you actually are is what is, always what is. And what is a sense of being and a knowing of itself. Not a knowing of itself as an intellectual idea, but a knowing of itself as in an instantaneous consciousness. The recognition right here. Not a recognition that's intellectual, not a thought, not an interpretation, but a recognition that's right here. And this doesn't exist inside or outside of something. It's not inside you or inside me or outside me. It is not one thing and all things. So it is this expanded truth of what you are. And this is freedom. The only freedom that you'll know. It's not really you knowing it, but it's the only freedom that there is. And you can free yourself from dynamics. You can improve your dynamics. You can become more conscious of your dynamics. But this is all movements in time. It's only the timeless which is really free and always here. It's not a comprehension. It's not something you do, because everything you do is a movement in time. So if you think, I've got to be more present, that's a movement in time. I've got to practice being present, that's a movement in time. So there's something that's here right now, which is inherently free. And there can be this recognition and a shift. It's an energetic shift from being contracted to being expansive. And this is unknown how that happens. Most of the time it appears in the story, like you settle the story down, you become more self-conscious, you immerse yourself into non-duality, but it's unknown what leads to what. And in a way it's irrelevant, because that which you are has always been here. That which you are has never moved. That which you are has always been free. It's just the focus has been on the movement in time. So it's this switch from this movement on time to this stillness which is always here. And it's not an activity and not an activity. Most of the time though, you want to know what to do because the you is lost. The you is told it has to be happy in this world, and it's lost. It doesn't know what to do. It gets this really bizarre conditioning from society and its family. And then it's told, right, off you go into society. If you earn loads of money, if you get a big house, if you retire at 28, you will be happy. And it's like, you what, man? You what have I got to do? All right, I see. I got to earn lots of money, and then that's, you know, the meaning and point to life. And it exhausts itself. It exhausts itself. And then at the end of it, it's like, oh, I now have to keep all this money when everyone is battling to try and get more money. So now I have to fight to maintain money. And that is happiness. So the person is kind of lost because it's in this society bumbling around trying to earn money, but it doesn't feel good earning money. It doesn't feel that great living in this society as an identified person. It's you kind of built on lots of empty promises. If you've got really positive conditioning and really good conditioning, which is unlikely because most people don't get really great conditioning, but if you do, then your life might be easier. And so you might feel generally more happy. But most people don't get great conditioning because most people's parents are really lost as well. So you come to this talk and then it's like your mind can't quite hear what's happening because it keeps focusing on what is it she's saying I have to do. How do I get here? I want to put effort and practice into it. And if you want to put effort and practice into it, firstly, know that that's an illusion, because who is the one that's putting effort and practice into something? So firstly, know that. But if you really want to, then you can put practice into moving your attention to this moment. And then also like examining what your particular person is seeking for. So what the seeking dynamics are. As you become more conscious of the seeking dynamics, they relax. But this idea that then that's going to get you to enlightenment is an illusion. Your enlightenment, your freedom is right here. Right here. It's the stillness which is looking. If you keep thinking it's in the future, if you keep thinking it's like you're going to arrive at, and you're constantly going, it's here. What is it that never moves? What is it that's never left? What is it that's everywhere and nowhere? It's like recognize that which is here, that's not a thing and all things. And it's not a personal recognizing. It's the person can have recognition, the mind can have recognition, and that's part of it, but it's beyond that. It is beyond that. Yes, baby. Who are you? Who? This is the greatest and most profound question there is. So who is it that is looking out now? Who is it that's thinking? Who is it that's sitting here? And what is beyond that? What never leaves? What never moves? So thinking is happening. The mind is thinking and looking for it. And it's appearing in what? So that thinking is being recognized and being witnessed by what? What witness is that? That one that's thinking often thinks it's the main attraction and the one that's conscious and the one that's doing. But notice there's something that's looking at that. So that cannot be the final destination. There's something that's conscious of it. There's something that's conscious of those thoughts. There's something that's witnessing that, watching that. But it's prior to. Who is that? When there's a disconnection from this, what arises in the person is something called seeking. So when that happens, when you identify with the person, when there's a loss of knowing what you are, then the person begins to seek for that. It's looking. What you're looking for in life is deep rest. But you're looking for it in pain and pleasure, in events, in circumstance, in money, in lovers, in all these different places. But actually what you really want is, ironically, yourself, which is here, present, now. 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 Okay, so let's go to the questions. So if you want to write and ask a question, it's Lisa Cairns 12 on Skype. You can find the information in the box below. So you can even write the question or say call me. And if you're going to say call me, please don't write anything afterwards so I can see.